What if I told you that the key to unlocking literally everything you want in life, your health, your money, your relationships, can only be accessed when you're completely unconscious?
Because right now, as you're hearing my voice, 95% of your life isn't being run by you. Not by your conscious mind, not by your goals, not by the things you think you want. Nope. That 95%, it's being lived by a hidden program. You can think of it like a stranger you inherited years and years ago. And guess what? It's making almost every single decision for you.
All right, so let's dive into this. Let's talk about this invisible autopilot and really get to the bottom of why your willpower, no matter how much you have, almost always loses the fight.
I mean, does this sound familiar? You set a goal, you feel super motivated, and then just a few hours later, what happens? You're right back to overthinking, right back to that little voice of self-doubt. It is so frustrating, isn't it? To work that hard and just keep ending up in the same place.
And this right here, this is exactly why. You see, your conscious mind, that's the part of you that wants to change, the part with all the big goals, it's only working with about 5% of the power. The other 95%, that's the subconscious. That's where all those hidden programs live. It's literally like trying to steer a massive cruise ship with nothing but a canoe paddle. It's just not going to work.
So please hear this. This is so important. Your struggles, they are not a character flaw. It's not because you have bad luck. You are simply running on faulty software. Software that was downloaded into your mind long before you ever had a say in it.
And this faulty software, well, that's what creates the code that runs your entire life. It's your own personal mental matrix. So how did this happen? Well, here's the science behind it. From the time you were in the womb until you were about 7 years old, your brain was mostly in a low-frequency brainwave state. It's called theta. Now, what's theta? It's basically a state of hypnosis. You didn't have a conscious, critical mind to filter things out. You just downloaded everything. The beliefs, the behaviors, the fears of everyone around you, straight into your subconscious.
And this is where it gets really wild. A lot of researchers are now saying that the movie The Matrix, it wasn't science fiction at all. In a way, it's a documentary about how your mind works. We are all living in a kind of simulation, one that was built by those programs we downloaded when we were kids. And you know what? This idea even shows up in physics. Think about it like this. Einstein talked about an invisible field of energy that shapes the physical world, the particle. Well, it's the exact same with your mind. The invisible field of your subconscious beliefs is constantly shaping your physical reality. So if you want to change the world you see around you, you first have to change the invisible beliefs that are creating it.
And this isn't just some vague theory. This is hard biology. There's a whole field called epigenetics that shows us that your genes are kind of like blueprints, right? But it's your thoughts and your feelings that are the contractor on the job site. They're the ones sending the signals that decide which parts of that blueprint actually get built. So what does that mean? It means you are not a victim of your genes. You are the master of your own biology.
Okay, so how do we actually rewrite the code? This brings us to the good part, the solution. A really clear step-by-step protocol to finally get in there and rewrite those old, outdated programs. You know, most people fail when they try to change their beliefs. Why? Because they're using the wrong tools at the wrong time. What I'm about to share with you, this is the password. It's the key that opens the back door to your subconscious mind. And that door, that window of opportunity, it opens right as you're falling asleep.
Okay, so here's the protocol, step by step. Pay close attention. First, night input control. This is simple but crucial. You have to stop watching or reading negative stuff at least 20 minutes before you go to sleep. You need a clean slate. Second, and this is the real game changer, the own voice affirmation. You're going to record your new beliefs, but you have to do it in your own voice. Hearing it from yourself is incredibly powerful. Okay, third, visualization. You might have heard this called SATS, or the state akin to sleep. As you're drifting off, you vividly feel the end result. You feel it with all your senses, like it's already happened. Then the fourth step, the audio loop. You play that recording of your voice at a really low volume as you fall asleep. Just let it play on a loop. Step 5 is all about emotional intensity. As you listen, you have to attach a strong positive emotion to those words. Feel the joy, the relief, the excitement. Sixth, and this is non-negotiable, repetition. You have to do this every single night for 7 days straight. No skipping. You're building new highways in your brain. And finally, number 7, morning reinforcement. The second you wake up, you ask yourself a powerful why question, like why is it so easy for me to be confident? This primes your mind for success all day long. Every one of these steps is key.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds way too simple to actually work, right? Well, let's look at a real-world story of someone who used this to escape their program.
We'll call this guy Bill. So Bill grew up watching his dad just constantly worry about the future, about money, about everything. And without even realizing it, Bill downloaded this core belief deep into his subconscious. Success has to be a struggle. So what happened? Every single time he got close to a big win, a promotion, a great opportunity, he would do something to unconsciously sabotage it.
It was like he was holding a gun, but he couldn't even see it in his own hand. He was just shooting himself in the foot over and over again, and then turning around and blaming it all on bad luck. The program was running so deep, he was completely blind to it.
But then, he tried this 7-day protocol. He recorded himself saying, "I am worthy of every success I achieve." He just played it every night. And by day 7, something had profoundly shifted. His colleagues started asking him what had changed. That constant anxiety he always felt in meetings, it was just gone. And the crazy part is, he wasn't trying to be confident. He just was.
So what about you? What can you expect when you finally get your subconscious on the same team as your conscious desires? What does this new reality actually feel like?
Well, there's actually a scientific term for it. It's called the honeymoon effect. It's this amazing state of well-being where life starts to feel like, well, like heaven on earth. It's not that the outside world magically changes. It's that your new internal programming, your new frequency, completely changes how you perceive the external world.
I mean, that constant negative chatter in your head, it starts to fade away. Things that used to feel like such a struggle suddenly feel effortless. You'll find you have more energy, and you'll start to notice that luck just seems to be on your side. And you know why? Because success is no longer something you have to fight for. It's become your new autopilot.
And I have to be absolutely clear about this. This is not magic. It's not wishful thinking. This is neurobiology. It's science. You are literally just using your brain's own natural mechanics to install a better, more empowering operating system.
Think about it. Up until this very moment, someone else has been holding the remote control to your mind. Tonight, you get to take it back. That special window of opportunity, that theta state, is waiting for you. So really, there's only one question left to ask yourself. What is the one belief you want to reprogram starting tonight?